Today on Ecom Pulse, I am joined by Derek Videll, an experienced entrepreneur and founder of Social Bamboo, a company specializing in Facebook ads consulting, agency work, and AI chatbot development. Derek brings extensive knowledge from over a decade in various online businesses, including e-commerce, SaaS, and digital education. He's also the host of the Social Media Entrepreneur podcast, one of the leading podcasts out there, where he shares effective strategies for growing businesses online. During our conversation, Derek shares his journey into entrepreneurship, starting from his early days in sales to building multiple successful ventures. He discusses the importance of adaptability and learning through action, as well as the value of transparency in marketing today. Derek reveals the key to running effective Facebook ads in 2024, emphasizing the shift towards open targeting and straightforward messaging. We also explore Derek's work with AI chatbots. And how they can significantly enhance customer service and sales efficiency for businesses. Additionally, Derek offers actionable advice for content creation, explaining how he has used platforms like YouTube and podcasting to generate leads and build loyal audience. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this episode is packed with concrete tips and strategies to help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of the digital marketing landscape. Welcome to the Ecom Pulse, your heartbeat to the world of e-commerce. I'm your host, Eitan Kotter. Join us as we meet with industry leaders, marketing experts, and the innovative minds behind the tech that is shaping the e-commerce future. So plug in, gear up, and get ready for a pulse-pounding journey into the heart of e-commerce. Derek, how are you, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, dude. Great to be here.
The Facebook expert, AI chatbot expert. Where do you want to start?
Let's go with the Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, right? Things are changing quite rapidly over there. What's going on?
Yeah, so they're adding a lot of buttons right now, which is making it super confusing. I just had to come out with a YouTube video a couple days ago on just a walkthrough of the ads. Like every 6 months, I make a new just walkthrough video of what buttons not to press. And this is
what not to do in Facebook, right? So, yeah,
dude, there are a lot of buttons that could basically significantly hurt an ad campaign's results from keeping on. And the default is for them to be on. And if you try to even turn it off, it will say, like, are you sure? Most people don't do this. Like, it is bad with how much they are trying to hide certain buttons that really have no business being on, that really make ad campaigns just look weird. I'm seeing a lot of, like, top advertisers even, like, on my feed that I can tell they have certain buttons on. And I wish if this was a visual episode, then I could, show you, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's not just me having an opinion on this. It's like buttons that will like switch around your, like, on Facebook, you get to write a primary text, aka caption, and you get a headline and you get a description. There's like one button that is automatically on and really hidden that will swap out your description with your headline with your caption, and a lot of times this will make the ad make no sense because the order of the text is now completely mixed up. So there's just a lot of stuff like that. So maybe you'd have to check me out on YouTube if you want this thing, but like that's the main thing that's going on. The other thing that's going on the positive side of things, though, is the targeting is so advanced now, and it's really opened it up this year to a lot of businesses that couldn't run ads before are now able to actually target their customer. Because before, if you were going through all of those interests that you wanted to target and just nothing matched up with your business at all, it made it pretty difficult to know what to do. I have like someone who's selling pickleball paddles right now, and luckily pickleball is a niche on there. But before, like that probably wasn't as popular. Like, it wasn't there. If you wanted to sell pickleball paddles, like, that wasn't there. You would just have to figure it out, like fitness into sports, into physical activity. Like you'd have to like go for these interests that aren't aren't direct. So there's new interest in there, which helps. But what I found that even in that pickleball example, when we did an ad set that was targeting people interested in pickleball versus just open targeting, as I like to call it, which is nothing for the interest. You just set age, gender, location, and you set nothing. That outperformed for selling pickleball paddles than advertising to the audience that was quote unquote interested in pickleballs. And also I was running ads for wedding photographers, and I tested this with multiple of their accounts. And you can choose to run ads to people who are engaged, like their actual relationship status is engaged in Facebook, or you could leave it open. And selling engagement photography to people without, like, just in the open ad set outperformed the engaged ad set. So after that one, I was like, okay, that one makes no sense to me how it could outperform. It just seems like the open targeting is typically the winner. And how the targeting works is now more so in the caption. So that it can see that you wrote a caption that says, congrats on your engagement. Let's get your engagement photo shoot planned. And it reads your caption, which now enables that if you are selling a weird thing, like I have someone or more unique thing that is now selling mediumship experiences. Like you get a live phone call with a medium to connect you with past loved ones, right? Like that's not a targetable interest, but her ads are working great because the caption just says all of that. So the fact that it goes off of the caption more so is it's enabled the whole thing to be able to target people based off of really anything, and not just a certain market, but a problem that market has. So if I wanted to run ads to try to get people for my Facebook ads coaching program, and I said, hey, having trouble installing your pixel or doing this or getting your first ad even published, check out my coaching program. That would probably find someone who's newer at Facebook ads. But if I say, hey, if you're having trouble scaling beyond $30K a month, blah, blah, blah. Like you see a lot of ads like this. Hey, business owners doing over $100,000 a month, the ad just like says that, like you can actually put in the exact timing of the customer that you're looking for, and it will take that into consideration.
So what's the idea here? Is just to access more niche target, going like micro, nano level? That this is the thought process, you think?
Yeah, don't waste a lot of money at testing the ad set at first, because the ad set actually, it still is the most important thing. If you don't get your ads in front of the right audience, it doesn't matter what they say, it's not going to work. So the audience is the most important thing. And what that used to look like before is you would choose 5 to 10 different interests and run a bunch of different ads to all 5 of them, and then wait until 2 or 3 of them emerged as worthy of keeping on. And or maybe you would turn off 3 or 4 of them, and you would have just spent $300 to $500 on each of those ad sets before you could conclusively turn it off. So it used to be you would have to burn $1,000 to $3,000 before you even found the right ad set. Now you can know that open targeting is usually going to win. There are some times where it doesn't. So I still tell people to always do some kind of test. But the cool thing is that even if open targeting doesn't win, it usually is not far behind. It usually is still really close. So what I would say is just do open targeting for your initial ad testing, and then just go beyond that and go immediately right to testing the caption, right to testing the image. And then once you figured out a good image, a good caption, and if your campaign is working or not, it doesn't work to open targeting. I might still say, all right, I want to make sure that the audience is not the issue. Let's test it to one more ad set probably. But otherwise, from there you could say, okay, it looks like we've got it off the ground and running. Now let's test out another 1, maybe 2 different ad sets, because it's basically either going to be open targeting or a lookalike audience of people who have bought from you, or sometimes interest-based targeting would work if it's exactly what it is. With the pickleball one, it's all right, we got to try that. I have someone that is selling a feature to guitar players, and this It's like a software, and this software only works with guitar players who own a certain amp. So for him, we actually did see that us targeting that amp did work better than open targeting. And it's probably because when it was finding guitar players, like it was just too specific, so like it actually did work better for him there. So a lot of times you do want to still do some kind of ad set test, but just knowing that you're working with an ad set that should work to some degree. It might not be the best, but it probably is. You can start there. It just takes out a lot of the hundreds of thousands of dollars of testing that people used to have to go through.
Yeah, but it seems it's just a matter of time, right? AI obviously needs data, and as time goes by, this data will be much more targeted, and probably AI in the long run, this AI-based algorithms and open targeting, do you think is going to win, like in all niches? This is your prediction?
It seems to be in all niches, and this is very well tested. I mean, throughout me running ads for coaches trying to get phone calls, or other educators trying to get webinar signups, or people selling supplements, or people selling. I've got an immigration lawyer right now. I've got the person, the medium. I've got someone doing backpacking trips. So it's like it pretty much wins almost all the I'll say like 75% of the time right now. And then the thing that can sometimes beat is a lookalike of purchasers, but a lot of people don't even have the assets to create a lookalike of purchasers, because you need a minimum of 100 purchasers from one country. And a lot of times you still need more like 200 or 300 before it's an actual accurate audience. So, unless you have like 200 to 300 purchases, then you might not be able to create that audience even.
Interesting scope of customers. When in their life cycle they approach you in terms of their marketing? Is it something that they're just building their business and just launching on Facebook, or they're growing organically? And then what are the examples you can share? And when is the best time to start with Facebook ads?
Yeah, so there's people who are wanting to run Facebook ads that like they're totally ready for sales, ready to scale, have absolutely no time, and then that's when they'll hire me to do their ads for them. And then there's the majority of people that are business owners that they're maybe not drowning in work yet or sales. They're getting enough to know, hey, I should probably try some ads. They've been running organic, and they're probably doing under 20K or under 10K a month. So they're not necessarily looking to hire it out to pay top dollar for someone to do everything for them and pay the ad spend. They're more looking to learn how to do it themselves, which is more what I tell businesses to do, especially if you're brand new. Because I also have people call me that say, hey, I'm brand new. I haven't even launched my store yet. I have all my products. I'm putting it together. I haven't done this yet. And it's not ready. It'll be ready in a couple weeks, but I'm contacting you because I'm going to need sales and I want nothing to do with selling my product. And when they come to me like that, it's usually not a good idea because someone in my position, it is difficult to know what to do. I'll be honest, because this person has come to you. They've already created their company. If they don't have any sales yet, especially to people outside of their friends and family, then I don't naturally have like this overwhelming belief for them. But they want to run ads. They want to hire me to do it. I don't think they're ready. But they want to do it anyways. So like, what am I supposed to do? Sure. I guess you're my new client, right? With those people, what I've done is I don't do a minimum month contract. I will do like a month just to like help them get it out, because hey, if that's what you want to do and that's what I do, then there you go. I'm just not going to lock you into a contract. We'll do it month to month and just get ads out there. And there's a lot of people that I've realized too that before they never embrace the sales side of business, which is the number one reason that business owners fail, in my opinion, is that they wanted to be an artist, but they didn't realize that their actual job is selling art. You get to paint sometimes, but your main job is selling art. And if you want to be, a clothing designer, you're going to design your initial 10 to 20 clothes. And now your job is selling clothes for the next year or two before you hit the design board again and come up with new designs. Like now you got to sell all those that you just bought or whatever. And a lot of times people, which is not usually the way I recommend to do things, I say get sales before you've spent any money on your business. Most people don't do that. And I think it shows that they're really avoiding that step, is that, they will buy 1,000 quantity of whatever. They'll spend, a few $1,000s. I've seen someone spend $50,000 on tea before.
Wow.
That was just basic ass tea. And then she gets on a call with me. She's like, all right, I heard online business is great. I spent my savings on $50,000 worth of tea. And I'm ready to sell it. And I was like, well, I mean, you're selling something that can be bought at the grocery store. Like what's special about it? And she's like, oh crap. like it was like literally like, I have vanilla tea, I have lemon tea. And it was like,
okay,
like you have no appeal to market online. What you need to do is, switch companies. But then by the time they contact me, they're already at the point where they're like so invested. So I can really, I can give everyone the best chance that they could possibly get, is what I like to say. I don't like, I don't do this, I'll blow up any business, because that would just be like a misunderstanding of marketing. Really, what happens in marketing is the better you get, the more you realize you can't really do anything to persuade people. All you can do is put a high quality product in front of the right customers, and then sales will happen. And you just get really good at just kind of knowing simple ways to present things very clearly. Like copywriting is the ability to present the best things about your product very clearly, not the ability to add a bunch of adjectives into a sentence. Is what a lot of the times that it turns out. It's just like, oh, cool. Like you really, you gave me the basic pitch of your product, and then you like put a ton of spice and fluff in it, and thought that the adjectives would make me like, whoa, like it says it's really good, like, so it's way more the product itself. And that's why the cool thing is a lot of times the single image ads on Facebook work the best. So like I say a way that if you could say, hey, can I get into Facebook ads? Like, is this a good idea for me? There's two ways I'd think about it. First off is, can you just simply tell someone the main problem or desire that someone gets from getting your offer, and then the price, and that's all that they would need to know? So even for like Facebook ads coaching, if I could say, hey, you get a do done with you weekly Zoom calls, or like learn how to run Facebook ads profitably yourself on weekly Zoom calls, $750 a month. If I just said that, there's a decent amount of people who will say, okay, $750 a month is a lot better than a lot of these other people. I do need to learn how to run profitable ads. And then they could, do it. And of course they might be like, well, who is this guy? Let me see some testimonials that might be on there, but I might be able to just run that ad and go right to like a phone call booking link. And maybe it's not the absolute best ad that I can run, but I'm comfortable like coming out and doing that. Like, are you okay just coming out where your ad is just telling people the offer, plain and simple, nothing fancy? That should get sales. If you don't think it would get any sales at all, is where the offer is probably not good enough to begin with. And crafting an offer is it's a long process. Like, there's a lot of variables to it. There's that $100 million offers book by Alex Hormozy. I think it's a great start for a lot of people to get into, but there's just so many different things that you can do. And then the other thing I'd say is, if you can run retargeting ads that get sales, then that would be another way to test out on a very low budget. If ads are a good idea, you do have to have enough website traffic though to like retarget. So if you're getting 1,000 or more unique website visitors a month, then you can create ads that are just very simple, that go out to people who have visited your website in the last like 15 to 30 days, that give them like a 10% off code or something like that, and then just see, can we get the traffic who's already been to our website but hasn't bought yet? Can we give them that little nudge, and that makes them buy? And then cool, let's like expand out to running ads to a cold audience. But you can at least test for like $5 to $10 a day, on retargeting ads, just to see if something happens within a week.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. I mean, as a founder, entrepreneur, it's not a good idea when you're afraid of selling, right? So I know a lot of them, their experiences in the operational side or maybe product management, and they came up with this great idea. But if you're not validating and you're not working on this product market fit and work with customers, talk to them, being agile on your mindset, try to evolve quickly and develop quickly, get feedback from customers and not be afraid. There's no way for you to succeed. So this is the really fundamental, right? There are also big organizations that are having difficulties to understand why the products are being sold, right? Why the customers are buying the products. So it's very, very important for any founders and any entrepreneurs to work with customers, to work with the market, to get feedback and grow together with this engagement and communication, ongoing communication with customers. So, and I know you also teach B2C businesses how to run profitable meta ads themselves, right? Is also something that you offer. What are some of the tips that you can suggest right now?
Did you say B2C or B2B?
B2C.
B2C. Yeah. So put the price in your ad and run pretty damn simple ads. So like, give me an example of a company so I can give you a little bit more detailed example.
Yeah, let's say a new cosmetics products, for example, right? It's like product range is around below $100 of sort. So it's a new category that this company is launching, a new, let's say, face cream or something of that sort for men's. Let's do it for men's.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. So skincare for men, right?
Yeah.
I'll suggest the video path to after, but I would probably start with the images because it's so easy to just get them out and test. And you're just going to figure out what are the unique things about your product that set it apart from other skin creams. So let's say it's a cleanser, and then this cleanser has like micro granules of pumice in it, and is like what the key factor is. Like it's got this exfoliant on another level, right? So you would pick out the thing about your product that is the best in the world. Is what you're trying to find. What is it the best at? Okay, so this exfoliant would be like the best the deepest exfoliant scrub like in the world, right? Like you're trying to figure out what it is the number one in as far as like its category, because it's like it's pretty good at being antibacterial. It's pretty good at getting a good lather. It's pretty good at smelling like a good bar of soap. But what is it the best at is the factor that you are trying to promote, because there is, I think one of the most powerful words in copywriting is best. And I've also heard that new is one of the other most popular words. But so let's say I just say, hey, the new solution to men keeping their skin clean. The reason why even that one sentence is a lot more powerful than this bar of soap has pumice and vitamin E and coconut and jojoba oil and coconut oil for a smooth scrub. Like that sounds like better copywriting. I just use the word new in the other one. So the fact that it says new, they've already tried to solve the problem of skincare a ton of times before. So unless it's a new solution, then it's just a solution that they've tried before. So that would be a time where the word new would be really impactful in a single sentence. If I say this is the best exfoliant in the world, then if they know that they need to get better at exfoliating their skin, if like that's the problem that they're trying to solve, like they have blackheads or they're trying to exfoliate and they know this is the best exfoliant, then that automatically jumps them to, okay, well, how much is it? So I'm trying to craft 1 to 3 sentences to sell the product. And if you do more than that, you're doing it wrong. You're not using the most powerful verbiage that you can, or you are talking about things that aren't the actual selling point about your product. It's not the main selling point. You're just saying all of the other things like, oh, made in USA, right? Like, that's great. It doesn't make someone buy. Eco-friendly. Eco-friendly is a very, very poor sales point, actually. People would think it's so great. But guess what? People love buying eco-friendly stuff unless there's a slightly cheaper one. Like, it doesn't matter. Cool. Like, does not matter. Like, people also, they love supporting small business unless there's a better deal from a large company. Then they don't care about it anymore.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you learn, like, you're like, oh, like people will come out, like they'll do copywriting and use things like small business, eco-friendly, and like those are the things that are like, they seem like sales points, but they're not. So it's more like, well, it's the best at this. Like, so, like I've had companies like say like, why? Like, we thought you were like this crazy Facebook ads guys, like your ads look so simple. And I'm like, yeah, well, I actually started by writing 2 paragraphs and then I like reduce until I had the best 2 like sentences. Is like, why? Like, it looks so simple, but this actually took me a while to
exactly.
to
It takes a while to just squeeze the messaging to very few words, right? It's a tough process.
Yeah, like if you look at like the Got Milk campaign, you know, like I think that's a classic example, like a very famous, and it's just 2 words, and it literally just says like "got milk?" like question mark. Like, it's just kind of funny to think of the company that hires this $1 million ad agency. They're in the office for weeks doing meetings, and then they finally come out with just "got milk?" question mark. Like, what do you think? You know, and they're like, why didn't you come up with this in a minute? You know, it's like, no, like there's actually a lot of psychology behind those 2 words. You know, there's a movie called Art and Copy that does like a breakdown of the Got Milk campaign actually, and like explains the genius behind it. So yeah, you're going to run ads and like, so that skincare ad, and it just says like the best thing about your product. Maybe you can make an ad that is a testimonial. It is another very solid single image ad that you can run. And then in that caption, you're just going to very simply call out who the audience is and the main problem that you solve. And you're going to tell them the price. And then you're going to go right to your sales page. And then you're going to spend a couple hundred. I'm going to say if you don't get a sale within $200 to $300, then your product might not solve a big enough problem to be marketed in this way. Because there are some products that can be sold on Amazon. And even through like YouTube, but can't be sold on Facebook ads nearly as well, because they need the person to already be like in the market. Like, you're not gonna sell like paper towels on Facebook. You know, Facebook ads. You could say like maybe like a year supply or like a monthly paper towel supply, and these paper towels will work way better. Like the most absorbing paper towels on the planet might sell on Facebook ads if they are the absolute best in a category. In any category, like they're the best as far as the cost save. They're the best as far as for the environment. Maybe you could make some people care enough, but probably not for long, honestly. It's funny because my roommate, my old one, he had bought eco-friendly paper towels, and we used them for like 4 to 6 months before. Like, this is freaking annoying. And it basically was this roll of non-disposable towels that you could just keep putting in the dishwasher, and then you'd have to like manually put them all back on the roll. And it was kind of nice. It was more just having like rags on hand. But it was interesting. We tried it out. He bought it because it was eco-friendly, and then in the end we didn't keep it up because it was inconvenient. So convenience overrules eco-friendly. But you're just going to try to get some traction from running a very simple campaign. And the reason why I say put the price in the ad is because your initial ad optimizations will happen from people who click on your ad. And if I can get them to see the price and then still click, on a button that says shop now or order now is the other part of this. Don't do a learn more button, because if they don't know the price and they click learn more versus a customer that sees $45 and clicks order now is a significantly more qualified customer.
Sure.
So I'm trying to get the algorithm its info quicker, because otherwise, if I have all these click happy people, it doesn't really know like which ones to take note of until they would actually buy. But otherwise, I can have it where even these initial clicks are going to be like getting the algorithm on the right track, because it's like, don't click it unless you agree with the price and you're clicking with the intention of order now.
Wow, Derek, really impressive. And this was like live in real time. So thank you so much for this insights, right? The new and the best and the price, really very, very important. It's really clear. So let's talk about the other side of your business. I know you're totally passionate about AI chatbots. So tell us more. What do you do in this field?
Yeah, so I've started incorporating AI chatbots, and really how I see this software evolving is a lot of sales pages just going down to name, email, and their billing details and credit card info, and then the only other thing on that page is a chatbot, and then maybe some text that says like, any questions, ask the chatbot, and then it just kind of has them go through a conversation, because they really can get to a point where they answer the questions exactly how someone would as if it was a live chat support, and it can turn the conversation into more of a sales conversation. It can turn it into an appointment for you. So I've got them running for a lot of different companies right now. I've got them for my own companies initially, right? I've got one on my e-commerce soap store. I've got one it's funny, that example, I kind of like sell a product that it has pumice in it. So, then I have a chatbot for my Social Bamboo. You can go to socialbamboo.com and feel free to have a conversation with the chatbot, try to break it, and then I've got them for my chatbot company, like the chatbot for the chatbot company, and then for some other brands that I've built them for too. And you are able to train a chatbot using natural language, is why this is another thing where I do done with you or done for you. If you're a business owner who has absolutely no time, I can build it for you. If you do have the time, which a lot of entrepreneurs do have a little bit of extra time to save that couple $100 a month or whatever it would be, to just build it themselves, it's not that difficult. So I have a course. It's a free course. So it's pro-bots.ai/trial. I wish probots.ai was available. It was not. pro-bots.ai/trial. And you can get unlimited access to the course for free. And it just walks you through how to train the bot. And you don't use any coding. You just literally, if the bot's doing something that you don't like, you just go in and you say, don't do this. Like, it's very simple to know how to train it. You just go in and just literally tell it like it was an employee working for you that is doing something that you don't want it to do. And then you have a bunch of different conversations with it just to see how it does. And you go through the responses and you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if it answered right or wrong, and then you correct it and say what it should have said. And it also gets trained off of your website or existing text assets. So the first thing you do for building the bot, you say, hey, here's my website, train. And it will train itself on every word on your website. And then if you have like an instruction manual or something like that, you can upload that PDF and then say, train yourself on this too. And then now it's like very knowledgeable right away. And after a couple dozen conversations, and you really trying to break it, then you can just keep going back and editing it. And then after it's live on your site, like I'll really monitor the first like 50 to 100 conversations it has with actual customers. And there will be some things that you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that one, and then you'll edit its responses. And then it's pretty finely tuned after a while. But in the end, you're left with something that really could save your front desk a ton of hours on answering the same customer inquiries all day. And these are getting to the point where you can build them. Like if you already have a list of leads from customers and you want to do an outbound chatbot that can text these people for you and say, hey, we saw you signed up for this, blah, blah, blah. Are you interested in doing a free call, and like handling their questions? But, having an outbound sales team that responds exactly the way you want every time, is very prompt, works 24/7, never requests paid time off, never requests a raise, never needs to be trained again. There's a lot of major benefits if you can get this technology incorporated.
And I guess it works well for both whatever, product-related questions, conversions, probably some of the support issues as well. So as long as you train it accordingly to do the job, correct?
Yeah, all the support stuff. It asks if the customer asks about refunds or what's the return address, or what's the store hours. It does all those basic things too.
Yeah, great. So we will add all these links obviously in the show notes.
Yeah,
for people to access the course and also the chatbot itself. When we just try it out and give you some feedback. So that's obviously very important. Derek, I want to talk to you about. I know you're about your content creation, because you run a very successful YouTube channel. You also run a very successful podcast, the Social Media Entrepreneurs podcast, which I think is the number one social media podcast out there. So amazing stuff. When did you realize that you need to create content? I want to try help and encourage entrepreneurs out there who are hearing us to start differentiating themselves and their company through content, right? So what was your journey in terms of content creation? What's make you so passionate about it?
Yeah, I have done all forms of content creation at this point, I would say, until I really figured out where I shined. So the podcast I actually started on a whim. I think part of my success here is just the ability to get started right away without much thought process behind it.
Yeah.
So like the one day I was driving around on my sales job that I was still working while I had started my first e-commerce business, and I was looking to grow that company's Instagram more. So I looked for a podcast on Instagram marketing, and I saw that basically all the podcasts that were available were inconsistent or had not come out with an episode in months. And I was like, what is going on? There is no Instagram podcast that is consistent. So about 3 hours later, when I got home, I started a podcast called Instagram Marketing Secrets. I recorded an episode on how to set up your bio, how to do hashtags, and the importance of Instagram marketing or something like that. And then published those episodes. And then within a week or two, my show called Instagram Marketing Secrets was the number one podcast if you typed in Instagram.
Wow.
So that's really how do you become a number one podcast? There you go. You pick a word that isn't owned yet, and then you name your podcast that, and now you own the word. And really all of I have 1.6 million audio downloads from that podcast, and I would say accurately 1.5 million of them or more came from just people typing in Instagram, people typing in social media on the podcast app and finding me, not from all of my other content. But I got started with part of it that's important with the content game is you just have to get started. Oh, should I do this content? I don't know. Go make a post and then figure it out. And then have this discussion with yourself on if you should do it or not, because if you don't enjoy it, it's a no right away. Oh, I love this platform's great. I heard TikTok's great, but I hate it. I can't get off the platform even when I scroll. You don't have to do any of these things. They're all a means to possibly work for you. But the only one that will work is the one that you enjoyed doing and the one that you honestly excel at. So for me, I do way better with these podcasts. Just long form content is better for me than short form, because I can go off on tangents. I like to thoroughly explain myself. I like to explain things in multiple different ways, and I can do the short form, but it's annoying for me to sit down and get the whole setup going and then try to record it where every word is so precise that I can explain my point in 45 seconds to 60 seconds. That is a Facebook ads topic. It can work. I've seen people do it. I'm just it's not where I shine, but I can just open up Facebook ads on my computer and then do a screen recording and then just film myself doing a screen recording and explain it. And it will be like a 20 to 30 minute click by click tutorial sometimes on YouTube. And it'll do great, and that will get me a lot of book calls too. And those are way more qualified people than the people on Instagram anyways. So from this year of about the 100 booked calls that I've gotten from content, I was looking up and I think only 3 came from my audio podcast and the rest came from YouTube. And I don't even think any came from my Instagram reels and stuff like that. So that's not a part of my strategy anymore, but I did do 450 posts before I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. So a lot of this is just stop thinking about it. This is not a thing that needs to be thought about very often. And I would establish some form of consistency that doesn't have to be I post every day on Instagram. But what I would tell you to try is you do one post every day, but it can be anywhere. If you do an Instagram post, it counts. If you do post on literally any platform, or if you're like, man, I'm out of time today, do a Threads post, right? Do a post that takes no time at all. And then just get used to being a content creator and then just turning your thoughts into a digestible piece of content and getting it out there. Because even Threads, it is hard, and Twitter is hard to gain a following because now you're having to be you're having to explain a probably difficult concept in a few sentences in a way that people read it and are impacted by it emotionally. It's difficult. I can't do it. I've learned, I want to break down how did you write these quotes, Gandhi, because a lot of people have said things like this before, but an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, lasts for decades. And I'm how do you write these kind of quotes? It's not my form of content, but I did a bunch of different posts before I figured out oh wow, this is harder than I thought it would be. But it seems like my YouTube tutorials do well. Everywhere else I'm not that special. So
yeah, but you tried a lot of things. Then you figure out through analytics what works, and then you zero in on the channels that works, right? That's a process anyone must do. Brainstorming and asking other people is probably too much overrated. You need to try it for yourself. That's the thing. Great, Derek. Anything else you want to add? Some of the tips, your tips for entrepreneurs out there?
I've given a lot of real tactical tips.
Yeah.
Not to be cliche, but of course it is a matter of sticking with it and knowing that you're in the right line of work for you. I think that when you go into opening a business, you should look at it that you're really more so committing to being an entrepreneur for life is more so what you're signing up for. Because if you are able to make the business work, you're probably never going to go back to working for anyone else. And if you can't make the business work and you started it under the right premise, which is that you really didn't want to work a traditional job. If you started entrepreneurship because it would be cool to work from your computer, it'd be cool to own a business and all of the benefits. It's kind of like wanting to be a rock star. Everyone wants to be a rock star. Not everyone wants to play guitar 4 to 6 hours a day and try to make a band and have bi-weekly band practice that you guys are yelling at each other and you're going on tour finally. And now you go to bed at 2 a.m. every night. You don't actually want to be a rock star. So anyone in the world can be an entrepreneur that wants to. But that wants to pursue the path, not wants the end result. So it's so much more of hating traditional jobs. If someone is oh yeah, I just want to travel the world, own my own business. I just know that's not. If your first business doesn't work, you're going to give up. You're going to go back to your traditional job. If you hate that job, I cannot work for someone, I absolutely cannot do it. Then you can be like me and mess around for my first 5 years of messing around online, I never made over 10 grand in a month. And my sales job before, I made over 10 grand almost every month. And I did that for 7.5 years. I had to say, oh yeah, I don't care. Like I'll go back. I went from making like $110K a year to like $20K. And I didn't care at all. I was like, yeah, well, what am I going to do? Like work for someone else? So like you really got to figure out like if you're entrepreneurial in your DNA or not. And then it's just a matter of time before you figure out some kind of working formula. It really is. But that won't happen if every time the going gets tough, you consider, okay, should I go back to my other job or not? No, I'm going to tough it out a little bit longer. I don't have this like extra freaking 3 days added into my, thought process. There's no like, it's not failure, debate what I'm doing, recommit to the path. There's no extra like BS like that. It's just like, okay, cool. Well, like obviously I'm never going to quit. So like, all right, now what? Like, and now I can change businesses, and like I've changed business ideas a lot. And I think that's something that you need to be open to the possibility of that. It's never give up does not mean never give up your first business idea. It means never give up being an entrepreneur, and you might pivot a lot.
Yeah. I mean, being committed, it's very important, and having that agility in mind, and that tenacity is so important, right? So, Derek, how people can find you and where?
Yeah, just find me on Instagram at Derek Videll, and the link in bio will have whatever I've got going on. So it's got the chatbot stuff. It's got a free call you could get with me, and then it's got my YouTube and everything. Basically everything is under my name at this point, Derek Videll. So done with all of the usernames that were all like social media related. I was like, okay, I can see the grander picture here. If I'm going to transition from business to business, I should be able to just keep the same Instagram name going in between them. So yeah, it's just my name now.
Yeah, I guess there is a common theme here. You make life easy for everyone. Same name all over the place, so nothing to mess around. Nice.
Yeah,
Derek.
I used to be like, I'm Instagram marketing secrets, and then I was like, now I'm social bamboo, and then I was like, damn, like, and well, like now I'm doing chatbots. So like, okay, it's just Derek Videll, like personal brand. Like you figure out like that's really what a personal brand is. It's just your ability to use the same audience into your future endeavors. Like rather than just making an audience for each business, you have an audience for you, and then it's easier to start other companies.
Nice. I guess this is really an interesting and a great insight you provided us here at the end of the episode. So I really appreciate it so much, Derek. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Your support means the world to us. If today's episode has been insightful for you, consider sharing it with someone who would also benefit. Even one share can make a big difference. Looking to elevate your e-commerce game? Discover Vimy, a multi-channel e-commerce platform that will transform your business with the power of shoppable video. Visit us at vimy.net to learn more. It's Vimy, VIMMI.net. Thank you for being part of our journey. Stay tuned for more invaluable insights in our next episode.